One of these times I'm going to come back early just so you can see.
So you can see me dancing.
See Krista dancing.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Three Crones in the Woo Woo. Maybe we'll make Krista dance for you before the show's over.
Just flash a Crystal. She'll do it.
So let me introduce to you Miss Damaris Samolinski beside me, intuitive healer, medical astrologer from the 5 boroughs in New York. Is that correct? You're in the 5 boroughs,
I'm from Long
right?
Island.
Long Island. So is that considered the 5 boroughs?
No.
God, I'm so confused.
It's by that, like the Hamptons and, Long Island is the Hamptons is in Long Island.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So, I'm going to have to look that up later. I'm thinking the Hamptons are like a mountain range, like upskill, like the Catskills. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. No, okay. On Long Island, the Hamptons.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think, Gayle, you need to go visit Sue.
He does.
I do.
Damaris.
Yes. All right. So we also have down here. Miss Krista Ducharme, intuitive healer, Reiki master, just all around sparkly angel of my life. She's awesome. She does such great things. She picks up on my holes that I didn't even know were there and fills them and runs with them, and she's magic. And if you don't know her very well, you need to know her better because she's amazing. Okay.
She's so cute.
Amazing. Her.
We're coming.
right. So I want to welcome everybody who's joining us over in Facebook land or on GayleNicholson.com /stream. Or let's see, YouTube. That's the other place that we're at right now. So welcome. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a hug, send us a bottle of whiskey. That's fine too. Whatever you'd like to do to connect with us, like we're trying to connect with you. Absolutely adore you guys for coming along and watching today. I do want to give a real quick shout out and make sure that everyone knows to visit our sponsor, Sue, over at Class Act Imports. She has a Facebook group called Class Act Imports or Retail Therapy with Sue and Class Act Imports, which is awesome. And she just went on a shopping trip. So she's got all kinds of new stuff. And she's been posting pictures, and I am in love with some of the stuff that she posted. And you know what? I definitely think it's a good recommendation to sign up for anything that she's got. Buy something from her, because I just saw a completely unrelated post today from somebody else that was thanking Sue for the beautiful gift that she sent her on her birthday for her birthday.
Yeah.
So, getting in with
Marcia.
Marcia. So, definitely there's all kinds of hidden perks over at Class Act Imports that you really want to be involved with. All right, ladies. So how is the world looking from your little corner? You want to go first, Damaris?
Yes. So I've been very busy working, doing my business. But the summer, the weather is really muggy here in New York. So I've been staying indoors a lot just because I get cranky with the heat. But it's, today is really nice. The day is really, is the weather is comfortable and it's sunny. So I'm happy about that. But I've just been indoors lately because of the heat, the humidity. I haven't been doing anything else.
Oh, wow. I don't know how long I could stand that myself.
Yeah, the humidity.
Staying inside because of the humidity. And you're absolutely right about the humidity. It sits heavy on my chest. It makes it hard to breathe. Yeah. But
yeah.
I don't know how long I can handle the inside thing.
I know. But it's you take a shower, you go outside and you're sweating, So
yeah, you never get
I have a secret. Would you like to know my secret?
Yes.
Humidity.
Yes.
All right. So I lived in one of the places on Earth that has probably 5,012% humidity minus a rainforest. Okay. Did not live in a rainforest. I lived in Japan. Now, Japan isn't quite as bad as Singapore, because my friends that are in Singapore are going to say, Krista, let's be for real. However, one of the secrets that I learned living in the humidity of Japan is you take a wet cloth, and now that you can get them back in the day, when the Stone Ages were, and dinosaurs were grazing on trees and all that stuff, as my kids would say, I would take a damp cloth, cold cloth. Sometimes I put it in the freezer, and then I just leave it on the back of my neck. And then as your body temperature adjusts to the humidity and the heat outside, that will help keep you cooler and help you keep your temperature. But a less messy way I learned is peppermint essential oil.
Yes, I was just going to say that putting that on the towel too would be amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
On the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Yep, the back of your neck. But even better, runners, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. I swear, you're going to love this.
You should patent that. Wait a second.
Wait, you're going to love what I'm going to tell you. And also people who do that hot yoga stuff that are like, yeah, it's good, but really, no, it's not.
Yeah, no.
Put the peppermint oil on the back of your neck, but also on the bottom of your feet.
I like it.
On the bottom of your feet. And I will tell you, it will change your running. If you're a power walker, it's the same thing. Or if you're a cyclist, yeah, try that. It really changes. It changed back when I was still running. It did change my my perspective and my running experience. Because I would in Virginia, it was very humid, and so I'd have to run in the humidity and stuff in the summer, and I was like, oh.
I thought you said Jamaica when you first said. I used to live. I thought that. But now you said Virginia, so I'm like, okay, it was in Virginia.
I've lived in Virginia and Japan. Japan is what I first said.
Oh, Japan. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Japan was probably in the summer. It was insane. You take a shower in Japan, and I don't know why we ever decided to take showers, because we were just as wet when we got out of the showers when we were in the shower. I mean, your clothes would just suction to you. But but the peppermint really does help a lot.
It does, and it smells good too.
Now, I've been using both of those techniques for the hot flashes.
Oh yes,
and they work for that as well. Now, here's my question. I get that what you're talking about cools down the blood and therefore helps you deal with the high temps.
Yep.
But it doesn't sound, maybe the peppermint oil will, but the cool rag doesn't do anything to like the humidity literally makes me wheeze.
Yes.
You got anything for that?
The essential oil I prefer for that is Breathe.
Yeah.
Or else, and I use that, and that's a doTERRA one. And I'll put that. So if I don't want to put it directly on my skin, but usually I do, and I'll put it right here, my collarbone, because it's helping me where my wheezing is, rather than necessarily putting it like it. So if I had a cold, I put it more here at the nape of my neck. But when it's wheezing, I put it right here. And it helps. I also, the top of your foot, I want to say between your big toe, between the big toe and the little, and your other, this version, that toe, the second toe in, you put it right there on the top. And that helps too with the wheezing in a different way than you would do it with a cold type thing. That's what I've done in the past.
I love it. Well, all of you that are watching right now, I want to say hi. First of all, CJ, thanks so much. I'm so glad you got the notification to come watch us live. Yes. This is awesome. Glad you're here. Sue, Tracy, thanks so much, ladies, for showing up. And now I forgot what I was going to say. If you've got like a remedy of your own, or can piggyback on top of what Krista is talking about for dealing with the summer humidity and very high temperatures, please put them in the chat. We'd love to hear them. We would absolutely love to hear them. My best remedy for dealing with really high humidity, like in the Great Lakes or on the Eastern Seaboard, is move your ass to Arizona. Because I don't know. Okay.
Isn't it hot over there?
It is
very hot. It is,
but it's a
right
dry
now,
heat.
Yeah, it is a dry heat, just like they make beef jerky from. Your skin becomes beef jerky. Or, well, I don't know if it's beef jerky, but it's jerky. No, you probably wouldn't. You probably would not enjoy it at all. But yeah, this dry. Week is actually it's a triple temp week. And wow, just it's going to be above like 104 all week.
Wow.
How do you keep your hair so pretty when it's so hot and humid over there? Well, it's not humid.
No, not humid.
It's not humid.
Not humid. No.
It's just hot.
I'm a little bit better in being able to keep my curls a little bit longer, but not all that much, because being menopausal and 110-degree temperatures back here is like
that's what I'm saying.
Got a carpet on top of it. So
yeah.
So then we just.
So then she just puts it up and does the bungee.
My curls.
Yeah, there you go, and it looks very schmucky.
It looks nice.
Thank you. I only wear it down when I'm on the show because I don't like it. I don't like how my hair looks pulled back. I have these very fine little hairs that stick out, and I look like Einstein. You know, it's great. So it's a lot of fun.
It's a wonderful
all right.
thing.
So, Krista.
Yes, ma'am.
You still got a little bit of sunshine there, don't you?
I do. It's 9:12 and the sun is out still. I will actually, I will take a photo with my phone and then I will post it into the group so you guys can actually see how bright it is outside. And you can see my fan in the window. But yeah, it's really still bright out. And it will stay bright here until after 10. So after we're done with the show. And so, yeah, for us, so it gets in the winter, as it approaches, not approaches, but approaches winter solstice, our day shrinks down. Our sun is down by like 3:45 in the afternoon. And then doesn't come up until almost 8 a.m. So, but in the summer, sunrise is like at the crack of 4. And so not quite 4 a.m., but like 4:30 it is right now. And then like the other night we were in Belgium. Kevin and I went on a trip to Belgium. Yay.
I love it.
It was so exciting. We were beside ourselves. And I know it's just, it really wasn't far away from home, but you would have thought that I went to Mars. Really very exciting. But we were walking to our car and it was going on 11 and it wasn't this bright out, but it was that twilight bright.
Yeah.
So, we had light until we got home and it was 11, I want to say it was 11:30 by the time we got home. We had a lot of detours. It's very interesting. But yeah, it was super cool. So as summer solstice approaches, it'll be bright and light until almost midnight.
Wow.
We sit that high.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Here by 8:30 it's dark.
Yeah, no, not here. It's really kind of cool. And when we lived in Washington State, we were on a similar parallel, just a little bit low, just slightly lower. But in the summer, it was not unusual for 10:30. It'd stay light until about 10:30, 11:45.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it really is. And we don't think about that so much until we actually live there and have to get used to that. I remember being in Vermont, it would get dark around 4-ish in the afternoon. And for the longest time, I thought that it mostly had to do with the fact that I was in a valley and surrounded on 3 sides by mountains.
Oh,
but it really was that we were at a slightly higher latitude. That's
what
latitude. It starts so early. People get the seasonal, what do they call it?
Seasonal depression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seasonal
Yes.
affective
Thank
disorder.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a
Yeah.
few people that happens to.
We had a happy light this past year. That's what they call it. And we used it. And I use a lot of candles and I use a lot of Himalayan salt lights because that glow from the Himalayan salt light helps. And then just I can say that just having candles lit also helps as well. And it really made our winter brighter in terms of our attitudes and everything else, even though it was getting dark. And you know what's really kind of interesting, I found, is that you almost want to hibernate.
Yeah.
It's cool. You just, and as long as you say to yourself, okay, so right now I get to hibernate. And then come summer, guess what? I don't.
Yes.
You know, you just, and sleeping, that's one of the things we're finding it challenging because we were getting on a really good sleep pattern. And right now it's like, okay, it's still light out. My body says it's still time to stay awake.
Right. Yeah, those blackout curtains can come in real handy.
I have those
like
too.
that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. And so it's just different, but it's great. The weather's beautiful. So we've been getting out. It
looks like it from those pictures. You went to Amsterdam, you went to Belgium.
Yep. Yeah, and we've been to Delft, and then this week with Father's Day, I think we're going into Germany, a different part of Germany. We're going somewhere other than the hospital. That's the only place.
About time.
In Germany, it's still a hospital. But now we have permission, so we can go do some traveling. So we thought we'd go over into Germany. And I don't know, we may make it. So we have this one area here. It's really cool. So 3 borders. It's kind of like the 4 corners, right? In the States, where it's 4 states that meet in one spot. Well, we have 3 countries that meet in one spot. And they also have a labyrinth there.
Nice. Ooh, I love those.
Cool.
Yes. So I am dying to get there. And on all the borders on each country, they have their own restaurants and cafes and pubs all there representing.
That's so cool.
So I'm not, that's also on an upcoming, let's get out.
How many countries have you been to or lived in or places?
Okay. So I've lived in 6 countries, 4 continents. I've been to over, I don't know. I've lost count how many countries I've been to. So by the time I was 13, I had been to, I think it was 17 countries.
13?
Yeah, I had been to 17.
Your father wasn't,
Yeah, and then, so.
Well-traveled.
I am. You want to learn about yourself? I mean, you really want to learn about who you are as a person, what you are capable of, what you are made of. Go travel. And don't travel like, I mean, really do that kind of exploratory traveling where you're not running off. I always love it when people say, yes, I went to Greece. Oh, you went to Greece. What did you see? Oh, I just went to a resort. Oh,
Mexico's the only country you should never leave a resort in.
Well, no.
Why is that?
There are several countries that you shouldn't actually leave a resort in. And right now there are several countries I wouldn't even go to the resort.
Yeah.
I just would avoid the country.
In the case of Mexico, because there are people, very, very poor people that live outside of the resorts, that their means of income is by rolling the people that come to the resorts. You know, and I'm not trying to judge them. I mean, if I had no income, I'd be scrambling to do whatever I had to do too. Yeah. So, you know, but that's the logic behind that.
Yeah.
And like Krista says, it's not just Mexico. It's
not,
you know,
no, Egypt is, or we have a friend, we were talking about going to Egypt, And right now, Egypt is a no-go, at least as far as I'm concerned, even at a resort, mainly because the security. It's just everything. When tensions are high in a country already,
globally
and globally, especially in areas that are considered hot spots, why tempt fate?
Right.
Yeah.
You
right.
know,
Right.
I can honestly say, as somebody who has experienced the IRA in full frontal mode of bomb explosions and survived, don't screw with people who say they're gonna hurt you, because guess what? They probably will.
Right.
Like, seriously.
And not to fearmonger, but I want to add this into from my own experience in college, because I went to college in Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to college for journalism. And my course director, at one point, we were talking about passports, and he said, "Do you have a passport?" And I said, "No." He says, because he knew I'm both American and Canadian.
Yeah.
He said, "Get your passport in Canadian, in Canada." And I'm like, "Well, why?" He says, "Because if you travel outside this country and you get into a hostage situation, they will look for Americans, because that will promote what they're doing further." No, it's not that nobody cares about Canadians, but media-wise, nobody cares about Canadians.
Yeah.
You get an American poster child.
Yeah. No, it's very true.
You're going to get wider exposure on your message.
Yep. No, that's very true. My friends, when we lived in Australia, I have friends down there who are American, not military related. And she was going on a retreat that a mutual Australian friend was hosting. And it's one that she's done for years and years and years and years and years. But one of the big dilemmas for my friend, who was the American, is she had an American passport. So they would mix her passport as far as deep as they could in with all the Australian passports, so that it did not stand out.
Wow.
On the trip and in travel, because it is, and as wonderful as it is to be an American, you just have to be a smart traveling.
Yeah.
That's all. You just have to be smart.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
True story. True story. So, Gayle, what have you been doing floating down the river?
Oh my gosh! I've been doing so many natural things. Things. I have been. We've been camping the last couple of weekends, and this past weekend, instead of going camping, we just decided to go tubing down the Salt River. So, do you guys have any idea what that is?
No.
Okay.
I know what tubing is. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the Salt River is the river that they dammed up near the Hoover Dam. Actually, it's not the one that goes through the Hoover Dam. That's the Colorado, right?
Yeah.
But in that area, there's a number of different dams in Arizona. Roosevelt, Saguaro, and a couple other lakes were created by this. But the Salt River comes down all the way down to Tempe. And there's an area where you can buy tubes, get on a bus, drive up, and then float down the river. It's billed as Arizona's biggest floating party. And it is.
Well, and it looked like you were having quite the party.
Yeah. And you should, if you forget to bring your own music, that's fine. Somebody will float by jamming theirs, no worries. And it's really, really a lot of fun. So we did that. I didn't get too burnt, though I did get a lot of color on that one. And we had a great time. Came home. And the next morning, Monday, my daughter texts me and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" And I'm like, "Flexible." She says, "I feel like going to Sedona for the afternoon." Okay, I'm in. Wow. So yeah, Krista, I'm just dripping this here in front of you so you can drool a little bit.
Now you gotta go to Sedona.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna go. That's on my to-do list. That's on my bucket list. My to-do list. Yes.
So we went up there and just the Oak Creek Trail. We took the baby, we took the stroller, and that trail it starts out sidewalk, then it's gravel path and sand, and then there's these river rocks and stuff. So we got to a certain point, and my daughter is just struggling with the stroller, and I'm feeling bad, and I'm like, I'm just walking the dog that wants to run anyway. Unhook the leash, strap it around the front end of the stroller, and we're just hoofing it like my granddaughter is the queen of frickin' Sheba through this trail beside the water. It was great. Sat down, had, there's so many people with families in there, so many trees and just beautiful stuff. And they're stacking those little rocks up in those little cairns that you see. And it was fantastic. And I really thought that we'd be home like 5, 7. We didn't get home till after 10 o'clock last night.
Yeah. Well, isn't that amazing?
I think that when we walked into that forest, there was some sort of time warp in there, because there's no way that we were in there as long as the clock says we were in there, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was absolutely fabulous. My tank is full, at least until this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, you gotta grab it while you can, because in the winter here in Arizona, the winter can still get pretty cold. It can get down into the 40s overnight, sometimes the 30s. I've seen it snow locally in Phoenix in the winter time. Very rare. Doesn't happen every year, but I've seen it happen. In fact, I was in a tent one night when it happened. So I know it happens. But so we tend to camp south in the wintertime and camp north in the summertime, because the elevation really helps. So that's all been fantastic these last couple of days, and I've really, really enjoyed it. But I'll tell you, maybe some of you guys out there like me, this has been a really emotionally rough past week, right? With the eclipse, and it's all in here, really. I mean, it's not like it's been actual reality that I've had to do and fix and share. It's mostly here in my head. And I'm just wondering, coming forward for this next week, because we've got the summer equinox. Yeah. We've got Father's Day. On the same day. And then we've got the full moon coming up next week as well. So tell us, Damaris, are we going to have any kind of back off before the full moon? Are we just going to keep trudging through and pulling forward?
That's what we're going to do. But you know what? Oh, let's see.
There you go.
I was like, should I talk? So, with this Mercury retrograde, right? It's like I've said before, and it's in retrograde, I think, till the 23rd, I think. But anyway, with the Mercury retrograde, people that you have to be aware. If you're not aware, all of the things from the past are surfacing now to the present. Things that you didn't reflect on are coming to the forefront now. The more awareness you have, the more you can connect the dots and do the right thing, so to speak. If not, you're going to keep sort of repeating the same pattern. So the retrograde is there. For me, I love the retrograde because it makes you reflect. It makes you weed out things that you have to weed out in your life. But it also causes confusion and problems, and sometimes traveling issues. So, and computer glitzes and phone glitzes. So you just have to be patient. I think that with the retrograde, you have to be patient. There's a lot of information coming in with the Mercury, also the energy of Mercury. Now, Mercury also aspects Neptune. It has aspected Neptune 3 times since May and June. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Neptune is about, your belief systems, and Mercury is about your mind. So perhaps your belief systems need to shift. The things that you thought were real may not be real. You know that Neptune is also the planet of like fantasy and living in an illusion sometimes. So you have to sort of like discern what's real, what's not real. A lot of information coming on the internet, on Facebook, everywhere, social media, in the news. You have to sort of like discern all this information, and it's based on your belief system. So what are your beliefs? What are your beliefs? And so you have to sort of like dissect the information and know what's real, what's not real. So that could be a lot, So you have to just be able to discern, okay, this is true, this is not true. Otherwise we get overwhelmed, we get frustrated. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. I also want to say something about Uranus and Saturn. Now, Uranus is the planet of freedom. You want to just go free. And then Saturn is the planet that restricts. So there's sort of like a pull and push with these two planets. Saturn wants you to follow the rules and regulations. Uranus doesn't follow any rules or regulations. So
I'm sorry, I got to take you off solo stream for that one.
Like,
yeah.
What are you doing with these two, right? Like, you're gonna follow the rules of Saturn, or you're just gonna, do it your way with Uranus. But if you don't follow the rules, Saturn is also the lord of karma. So if you don't follow the rules, it's going to grab you by the neck, so to speak. So
you're gonna get a timeout, Krista.
I could get timeout. Oh,
So what were you gonna say, Gayle?
No, nothing. I was just laughing so hard. It's weird when somebody's full screen and there's somebody laughing in the background. So I had to bring us all, because it's like, oh God, is that ever the truth? The push and pull of go be whatever you want to be. No, your mom. Don't go be whatever you want to be.
A saying comes to mind.
Yep.
A saying comes to mind. Just because you think you can, it doesn't mean you should.
You should. Yes, I say that all the time. Yeah, like the other day when Kevin was driving, we won't discuss how he was driving. Let's just say, just because you can.
Exactly. So it's like you have to have your own sort of like inner compass as to, okay, I can do this, but I shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what repercussions am I going to face because I'm doing this? And that's Saturn. Saturn, doesn't. You could hide under a rock and it's going to find you. Saturn, again, it's the law of karma. It's going to come knocking. You know what they say about karma, right? I don't want to say it. It starts with a B. So
we already broke that seal on this show.
Wow, we did. Okay.
I'm like, we never said we were
I am
PG.
the potty mouth of the group.
We have never said we were PG. Nowhere does it say that this is a PG podcast.
Right.
So that's what Saturn is. And if you don't follow its rules and regulations, you're going to pay the price. That's just plain and simple. But then Uranus wants you to fly free. It wants you to soar. But Saturn says, you can soar, but there's you got to do it in moderation. You got to do it the right way. You got to do the right thing. And so that's where we're at right now. Some people do the right thing. Some people don't. Some people do whatever they want, and then they pay the consequences sooner or later. So that's the push and pull that we have going on right now. Again, people that are conscious will do the right thing. People that are not will not. And then we that are have to just be able to say, okay, I know what's going on here. The more awareness you have, the more prepared you are, the more you know what to do, right? That's why I say awareness is key for everything,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Also, what else did I want to say? Oh, the 8 vibration, right?
Yeah.
The 8 vibration, we had it a couple of weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's all about that leadership. 8 is an executive number. It's all about, it's almost like the 8, as I see the 8 as a boss, as a, the one that's running the show. If you're a boss, don't use power, don't abuse your power, right? Where you could, use it for your own sort of like agenda, right?
Mhm.
So if we all stepped into our power and used it, correctly, like if we follow Saturn's rules, right?
Right.
If you follow Saturn, which actually the number 8 is ruled by Saturn. So if you follow Saturn, you're going to get there with unscathed. If you want to do it the Uranus way, I don't know. So it's stepping up to
I'll be good.
So it's stepping up to that leadership role and I guess being humble, but also helping others do the same. If we all sit back and don't take a leadership role, where will we end up? I always say that, right? So it's like we can't sit down and wait for a savior of any kind to do things for us. We got to step up to the plate. Each of us, individual, collectively, and do it in a humble way where we're not abusing power. We're not feeling like we're better than. And, because now, again, we're coming into that Aquarian age where it's like, it's the we, right? Not the I, right? So
I don't really like what she's saying right now.
Why? You're more in the I, Gayle?
No, not that I'm more in the I. Just, I like doing what I want.
Yeah.
But there's a consequence, though, sometimes.
Well, yeah, there is.
It depends.
But here's the thing that we always tend to think of. Consequences are negative. No, they're not.
Necessarily.
No, that's my point. They're not. They're not always negative.
No.
So by all means, think it through, right? Respect Saturn's karma.
Yes.
Have fun with Uranus.
Yes, I like that.
But also make space for positive consequences.
I like that. Yeah, consequences could be good or bad.
Yeah.
But again,
what follows?
It comes with the awareness. If you're not aware, guess what? You're going to go do crazy things.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pay the negative consequence. So it's all about awareness.
I have a question about crazy things.
Go ahead.
So if you jump off of a perfectly good building, with a bungee cord on.
Yes.
Is that, a negative? I mean, you're doing it willingly. I'm only asking this for a friend. No,
you see, I feel like if it's, I feel like when you're doing something to other people, not, for yourself, like for example, if I am hurting somebody, if I take their job, if I do, something to hurt them because I think I can, then there's a negative consequence. It depends on the situation. It's hurting others because you want to do what you want to do. If you're in a marriage, let's say, for example, and you do whatever you want and not, considering your spouse, I think that there will be a consequence that is negative with that, right? Yeah. Or, right? If
that's a really good point, because that consequence, short-term consequence, may be that it splits up your marriage, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you were shoving yourself into a little teeny tiny box that you don't fit into to be in that marriage, it could end up being a positive consequence.
Well, yes, and that's where Uranus wants you to break free. If you're in a marriage that, like you said, you're squeezing into that marriage to fit in, and it's not right for you, Uranus might win that war against Saturn. It might, because Uranus is going to say, no, you're not happy. You're not happy. You got it. And it's gonna create an upheaval. It's gonna create, a sudden and unexpected event that is gonna break it. And so that's what Uranus is about. So again, Uranus is the great awakener, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Uranus is. So you got the law of karma with the great awakener. When you awaken from your slumber, what are you going to do with that information? Mercury, right? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do with that information? Again, now you have the Neptune energy, and you can say Neptune is all about the heart. It's all about your belief system. It's all about the compassionate heart, right? So if you use your mind in the right way and you open your heart compassionately, you could break free of that marriage without the negative consequence, right? If we're using all these planets as a storyteller, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I would hesitate to say without a negative consequence. What I'm trying to drive towards is highlighting what we're talking about. The awareness is key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So you need to actually think things through.
Yes.
So that you are aware of what consequences you're creating by taking this action.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
and
it doesn't mean you don't.
Powerfully choose. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It just means that you take, or you with full awareness, it's like with your eyes wide open.
Mm-hmm.
You take that leap of faith
absolutely.
off the building with the bungee cord.
Yeah. But you said it all, right? And what I was trying to say was the thought is the Mercury, right? The consequence would be the Saturn. The breaking free is the Uranus. And so the Neptune is the heart in your belief system. So when you put it all into a story, it's like, really meditate, really reflect on that Mercury energy before you do something. Do it the right way. But if you need to be free, then free yourself. And do it from a compassionate heart. If you have to break free of somebody, of a relationship of any type.
That's definitely. I like that. That's perfect. That's really good. I like that a lot. Yeah, definitely.
So that's what's going on with the planets.
Yay!
Yay, planets!
Yay, planets. Okay, awesome. Now, Miss Krista.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to talk about some stuffs today. Hold on.
We are. Okay, there we go. All right, the crystal of the week is blue chalcedony. So I don't know if you guys know, I have on blue chalcedony earrings. Yes, they're from our sponsor, Sue at Class Act Imports. Awesome. So there's her little promotion. So I looked up something because we had blue chalcedony not too long ago as our crystal of the week. I'm going to look and see if I can see how far back that was. It's a little further back than is back in February.
Yes.
So, but blue chalcedony is a gentle, warm, it has a really interesting feel to it. Now that I've had these and I get to feel them and everything, because it's very translucent. I'm going to take an earring off so I can show you guys. In the earring, there we go.
Very nice.
It does, isn't it? Really
it's pretty. It's almost like chatoyant, isn't it?
It's really, and it has no, I don't have enough light coming through because the glare of the sun.
It matches your eyes, Krista.
Oh, thank you.
It does.
Thank you. I like it. It's very nice. But blue chalcedony it has this really cooling, soothing vibe to it. And so I was looking some stuff up because I looked up in the book the last time and I went to one of my favorite go-to sites. Actually, I worked with them for a while, crystalvault.com. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yep.
And chalcedony is considered or known as a speaker stone. And it's one of those stones that if you are a speaker, you wear it, you will find that you are measured by your words. People will pay attention. A chalcedony, blue lace agate has a similar thing where it opens up your voice and it opens up your throat chakra to be heard. Same with Larimar. But blue chalcedony has a like almost regal vibe to it. And it is used to share words of power. So it is said that the great Roman orator Cicero is said to have worn a chalcedony around his neck. So if you guys know anything about Cicero, he was somebody, I don't want to say pontificated, that's the wrong word, but he spoke a lot, and he and his words, he's considered to be a value in terms of the stories that he would share and what came out of his mouth, and in how he was somebody who was heard, and then his stuff was passed on. So for me, it was like, wow, that is a really kind of a powerful thing. Chalcedony is also considered to be a nurturing stone, which when you actually think about speaking, and Damaris and I were talking about this before the show, when you think about speaking, it is one of the things that people feel like they lose, not just the speaking aspect, but the hearing aspect. And so when you think about using your voice and finding your voice and discovering your voice, a blue chalcedony is a great way to open that voice, especially if you know that in your heart of hearts that what you have to say has great value. And the other thing is if you want to make sure you're hearing what people are saying and valuing what they're saying, chalcedony on the ears for earrings, perfect. Chalcedony around the neck for speaking, perfect, right? But the other interesting thing I found in terms of the blue chalcedony was that chalcedony is considered a sacred stone by the Native Americans. Now, it promotes stability for their ceremonial activities. And if any of you have ever had the opportunity to attend a local powwow or a ceremony that is hosted by the Native Americans, it is always remarkable how they bring these gifts of Mother Earth into the ceremonies. Whenever I do what is called a Nibi Wabu, which is a water blessing ceremony, which is Native American. And when I set up my sacred space, it's all, crystals are always involved. A lot of other beautiful natural things, but definitely always crystals. And because it's very sacred, it's very much that connection to Mama Earth. So don't look at blue chalcedony just as it's a beautiful stone and it makes your eyes look pretty. Thank you, by the way. Beautiful. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Yes. But think of it as being a really cool stone. I almost want to say it's a storyteller stone. That's my words, because it really, when you have a story to tell that you really want to be heard.
Yeah.
This stone is the one to go to. And definitely it is a gentle stone to wear. And then it does look beautiful. It polishes beautifully. And Sue at Class actually has some. There you go. Lots of them.
I want to give you a shout out. My friend Ada, who had a crystal reading from you.
Yes.
Spoke about you for 3 days. She couldn't believe all the information you got from those crystals. So she was amazed. And again, she couldn't stop talking about you. She couldn't stop. So she was very pleased with that reading. And I thank you because I love Ada. She's one of my closest.
She is so sweet. She really is. And I told her that the stone that she made, the rock, I was like, girl, that just was beautiful. It was perfect. And
she loved it.
Yeah, she's going to have more of those painting of rock things coming in her life.
She's very creative, and I had given her the idea, but she should just leave them around. People get so excited when they find those, shells. I found one that said weeks ago that said, "I got this," and then yesterday I went to Home Goods, and as soon as I walked in, there was this plaque that said, "I got this." So I
love it.
This. I don't know what I got, but I must have it.
You have this.
Keep telling me you got this. So, but anyway, those rocks are really, they make people happy when they find them.
Yeah, they do. They really do. And she had great talent with that. Thank you very much for my shout out. But
you're welcome.
I really appreciate that. Because that is a lot of fun. So I don't want to use up all the time because guess what? Miss Gayle now has to go on to her wordy wisdom that ties all of this together.
And create magic with the word.
Create magic.
So today we're going to talk about speaking to create something greater for all. And yes, including magic. And I'm going to begin by actually kind of tip-topping on top of what Krista just told us, because yes, times 2, everything she just said, but also blue chalcedony. I'm still learning how to pronounce that word. I read it first and read it that way for 30 years before I heard it. Chalcedony. Yeah. Chalcedony. Anyway, So it was one of the stones in the high breastplates.
Yes.
Breastplate, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I see a stone that's like was in the breastplate of the high priest, you go, oh, okay. So why would they want that there?
Yep.
Why not a different stone? Why would they want that there? And it makes absolute sense from what Krista just talked to us about. It's a gentle speaker's stone that for a person who says things that are deep power and significance and that can, impact the world. Literally, Cicero's teachings have been handed down for thousands of years, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, that's definitely a stone that you want to fortify yourself with when you go into situations where you have to speak power, maybe speak disagreement to power,
Yes.
and the earrings are always fantastic when you want to not just listen to, but actually like absorb and internalize those powerful words that you need, right? And, definitely a great tool to have in your toolbox if your purpose here in this carnation at this time is meant to go out there and speak something greater into being, right? Yeah. Because we hear, trust me. Do you remember the last post that you read on Facebook?
Not off the top of my head right now.
Right? You don't.
Yeah,
you know why?
Wait, no, it's ours. It was our post. That
okay, well, that one doesn't count.
That one doesn't count.
That one doesn't count, Krista. Here's all the information.
Yeah, see, that's great. The point being that the mass of communication out there is very base. It's very dense. You are not going to get your words of power through that muck and without something that will help you energetically differentiate from it. It's not just the words you speak. It's not just how you speak them. But if you really want to create something greater than what is filling up our ear holes and our pores of our skin and being thrown at us, then you really need to speak from a base of power, from a base of certainty, from a base of conviction. And blue Chalcedony really supports that very, very much.
Yep.
Right? And knowing and being aware of how your particular makeup is, right? How you were created to be is key to all of it. Because until you are actually aware of who you are and what you've come to do and to provide to the world, right? You're never going to have those words of power to speak. So at that point, they're beautiful jewelry.
Yeah.
They're pretty. They make your eyes blue. Yeah.
There you go.
No, right.
But make them work.
Yeah. With the awareness, with the self-knowledge, with the foundational support of literally pieces of earth at your throat and your neck, right? Imagine how that explodes out your possibilities of creating on a larger scale than just your individual life, right? If you're called to be a leader and you're leading by speaking and there is power in your words, don't leave your toolbox at home.
No.
Gather up all the tools at your disposal, whether it's human design, whether it's astrology, whether it's Reiki, whether it's stones, whether it's meditation, whether it's totems, whether it's little pendants and stuff like that just remind you, take a deep breath, respond rather than react. How can I help you?
That's right. Love it.
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect. Have a way of speaking.
So I have something that, you were talking about the whole speaking aspect.
Yes.
That kept coming in. I don't know, maybe Ganesh was telling me. It's not just about speaking. There's somebody out there that needs to hear. You need to sing. You need to sing. And you sang like a little itty-bitty mouse around everybody. I don't know who it is, but someone needs to hear this. And you sing like a little itty-bitty mouse, but you need to project as you sing because you need to be heard. And you're going to be heard through song. And so you were asking about what Facebook post that we just all read and how it affected us. I'm going to add, what song did you last hear that moved you? I mean, moved you. Whether it moved you, like moved you.
Yeah, see, told you we get her dancing by the end of the show.
Or whether it moved you, there you go. I have no problem dancing. Or whether it moved you, like as in emotional, where you were laughing, sobbing, doing a mixture of whatever, or it made you actually take action, moved you.
Even if it's getting up to turn it off.
Yeah, I've had those songs too. But no, I mean, really, think about that. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I love it. That's a great question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is all about action, reaction, and thinking it through where our power is and what it is that we're doing.
I heard a story once, a legend that they said that, I don't know what tribe it was, but a native Aboriginal. And if you went to the medicine person of that tribe and had complaints that you were very sad and depressed, the first questions that they would ask you is, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing?
Wow. That's very interesting.
But think about it. I mean, not everybody enjoys dancing. Not everybody thinks that they can dance. But even literally, chair dancing.
Krista. She doesn't even need music.
No, she doesn't. And see, that's kind of the point. Krista can break out into dance at any second because she is a naturally innate, positively charged person.
Yeah.
She's happy is her baseline.
It's my baseline. Yep. Yeah. And I even dance in stores. I dance in the street. I dance while I run. I dance. If it moves me, if I'm like, I just need to move and dance. But I can say what Gayle just said. When I don't dance, I know something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, sometimes and when you get in that place, sometimes it takes a while to figure out I'm there and I need to get out of there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Speaking of getting out of here, we got a little bit more housekeeping to do before we end the show today. So I want to say congratulations to last week's winner who will be receiving a 90-minute session with me. And that is Joanne Angelberry Cologne.
Oh,
our former crowd. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I was really happy when I pulled her name out of the hat today. And so, Joanne, whatever I do, within reason, you can take your choice, whatever you want, baby. Okay. Awesome. Now, also, I want to make sure that you are all aware of our sponsor, Class Act Imports. Our other sponsor, Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. And our other sponsor, Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. And then there's me, Creative Command Coaching and Consulting with Gayle Nicholson. And then watch us everywhere. Like, comment, share. We're on YouTube. We're on GayleNicholson.com and Facebook. So make sure you tell your friends. Bring a buddy next time. Or just kind of like send them a link to the show. That's cool too. And next week's free offer, should you like or love, comment and share this post. Damaris, you got something for us?
Whatever you want. I can offer something. Yes.
Okay.
I can offer a tarot reading. I love my tarot readings. That's what I'll offer.
Okay, great. So
Ooh.
next up is a tarot reading from Damaris herself.
They will
So
love
make
it.
sure that you do that, like, comment, and share. Make sure, make a comment even, hey, I shared. Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Makes my job easier collecting all of these likes at the end. So thank you for tuning in today, hanging out with us. Let me check these last few comments before we go. Paula, thank you for joining us. Sue, Carolyn Genj Talalas
Hi,
joined us as
Carolyn.
well. She says, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I didn't say hi earlier.
It's all good.
But yeah, so thanks everyone for coming to join us. We think we had a great show today, and most of it is because of you. So thank you very much for being here. We love you guys. You take care, and we will see you again real soon. Bye.
Yay!